greatness today because Sarah Barton here was named Brewer of the Year at the British Guild Beer Writers Award. So I think it's the first time a woman has ever been.
Absolutely, first barista.
So I think we should put that entirely down to the power of Dea Latis. Today we're doing beers for breakfast, so you'll see that we've got 4 foods, match them with a beer, and then at the end we can decide which one is the best.
I was given a list of beers that would be available in the pub and a list of the food that they wanted to match them to. And looking through the list, I had 3 matches that automatically sprung to mind, with the guidelines for food matching being cutting, contrasting and complementing. The kedgeree automatically sprung to mind to have a strong IPA that was going to cut through the gluten from the rice and also cleanse your palate after the smokiness of the haddock. The sausages, I thought that would automatically go usefully with the ESB. The ESBs being such a rich, complex beer with 4 hops contained therein. And they just really went well together, the beer really kind of complementing the rich, meaty fleshiness of the sausages. The black pudding and the porter, automatically the colours match, so that was quite an easy pairing, but also just the rich, sumptuous flavours contained within the beer just worked so well with the fruitiness of the black pudding. Again, that wasn't a difficult match for me. The interesting one was the mushrooms. I was completely thrown a googly and was unsure how to best approach that one, but looking through the beers and researching them a bit and found the Orval, the Trappist beer, the 6.9%, and knowing that mushrooms and yeast are related, that beer then seemed to make sense to me. And both the woodiness of both that beer and the hops and aromas and spiciness contained within the Orval beer, the match worked really well. And the wild yeast complemented the flavours of the mushroom and kind of cut through the sliminess of the mushrooms as well.
He wasn't freezing quite late last night.
Really good swell to release the hop aromas into the headspace of the glass. Take a smell. You'll pick up the sweet, delicate, almost spicy flavours from the traditional English Goldings hops. It's slightly sweet as well, and also the traditional English slightly earthy, slightly woody flavours coming from the hop. Beer actually complementing the mushrooms, the earthiness of the beer, the spices of the beer, offsetting the slimy texture of the mushrooms, and cleansing your palate, ready to have more food. So I hope you enjoy my pairing very much, and I might have to do the votes. Thank you.
My favourite match was the kedgeree and the Bengal Lancer, which were my first one. Kedgeree is one of my favourite breakfasts anyway, but the Bengal Lancer really well just cutting through the rice and the smokiness of the haddock. Definitely my best.
As a black pudding virgin, I have to say the black pudding and the porter. It was amazing and gave the black pudding a bit of an edge, even though I'd never had black pudding before.
Definitely the mushrooms and the Orval for me. Really, really good. Yeah, changed my mind about mushrooms. I hated mushrooms before. And sausages as well, and I've always loved sausages.
I love the sausage in the ESB because the sausage really complemented the flavour. It's great.
Well, mine was very definitely the Bengal Lancer and kedgeree. I think partly because I hadn't had kedgeree since I was a child and I'd forgotten how nice it was, and the beer was just so refreshing. Strangely enough, it was the first beer of the day. Didn't think I was going to enjoy it, but it was just beautiful.
I think it sometimes makes it more difficult because you think about it too much, don't you? You can sort of overanalyse things. Sometimes you just need to sort of taste what you like and see what you enjoy, and trying to get into all the sort of hops and the malt in it.
I had some people around for dinner. For dessert, I had a strawberry dessert, and I matched it with a sort of cherry creek, and I served it in champagne glasses. And they didn't know it was beer at all.
Really?
Yeah, and they all said, oh, what is this? It's really, really tasty. So I think, making sure you match beer with food at home when you've got guests around is important. benefits of the glassware presented here.
I would actually really like to get into two groups that 3 million women in this country are members of, which is Slimming World and Weight Watchers. And I think it would if we could just get a foot in the door with them, we could change an awful lot of perceptions about beer.
The spend for the beers, I mean, that's quite an interesting one, because for a long time it's been your working man's pint, 3-4% beer, whereas I think ladies prefer less volume and stronger beers. Maybe in a wine glass, and I would ask for a large wine glass if they don't have any specific glasses. Because it is difficult for pubs to manage.
I suppose it's a bit like the cyclops, sort of putting that together with the the descriptions you get for wines, where they've got sort of grades and levels of sort of tanniness or fruitiness, and trying to sort of incorporate the two. On the scale, so you know, well, that's what I like, so I'll go for a number 3 or whatever it is.
I think Robinsons have started putting cyclops in front of the and the colour as well, which I think is, although I don't personally think Cyclops is the perfect.
No, but it's all we've
thing,
got.
But it's all we've got, and so I think that,
right
but at least having the colour very clearly at the bottom of the clip, so you can look and you're not put off by the names, I think is quite useful.
I think within the pubs themselves, so from the retail perspective, the number one ambassador we've got is staff. And Chris Rowlands was telling me last night from the Goat Major that when he took his pub, none of his staff drank beer, and he's passionate about beer. So the first thing to do is got they're interested in beer. You go into his business now, and all these guys and girls who never drank beer before watch them sell beer because they totally enthuse about it. And even if they only get people to try a half, you've started that little seed.
Yeah. Well, we've done a few research cards, some small ones, and one of the first thing you mentioned about beer, the glasses being a problem. That's also what we found in our research. That was the first thing that we should do, actually develop something which is not branded glasses, because you don't want to put branded glasses on the table when you actually leave the table at home for Christmas dinner or whatever.
In fourth place, with 3 votes, was the Oval and Mushrooms. In joint second place, sorry, I don't need to applaud. In joint second place, London Porter and Black Pudding and ESB and Sausages. Both got 4 votes each, which means the winner today is the Bengal Lancer and the Kedgeree with 5 votes.
Absolutely loved today. The women at my table have been a real laugh, which helped, social lubrication for the liquid lubrication.
I found it fabulous. I'm really new to this. This is my first event, and first time meeting a whole pile of women in the industry, and it's just amazing. It's so encouraging for me as a kind of new person to this industry to know that so many other people out here who are great and who can kind of work together.
I think it was interesting that people wouldn't normally associate having beer with breakfast, and I don't think I can remember a time when I've had 4 beers before midday, but I think it was a really successful event.